the problem I see is I'm not looking at it from like, okay, a 4, 5, even 10-year standpoint. I want to know what that approach is doing to people 20, 30 years old, and not just physically, but what about neurologically?
Exactly. There's a lot of, for example, you see neurologically, there's a lot of omega-3 deficiencies, right?
Absolutely.
You know, the thing is, all diets are flawed, and I'm glad you went down this road. All diets are flawed. Every single diet is I should say, I use that word maybe too loosely, has a deficiency in it.
There's holes.
There's holes in every single diet, no matter what you're going to do. But I think that the key to them, first of all, is to reduce and minimize the level of toxicity in it.
Yep.
So the first thing you want to do is study the diet. Actually study it, which these unnamed people, which you and I both know, right? They jump on the bandwagon. They dive right in. They become a guru without studying it, right? Without studying the deficiencies or the flaws of the diet. They don't use, very often I don't see them using any of the superfoods. They don't even know to use them.
Well, it's a nutritional zealotry where it's like, it's not even about like, oh, I don't need it. It's like, I hate it. I won't do it because it's not part of my religion.
Right. And it becomes this, it's a perfect terminology. Veganism, as you and I both are, is you're deficient in, of course, B12, everybody knows. You're deficient in L-carnosine, your CLA, the omega-3s, the DHA. So you got to look at all these things at the very minimum, and there's others. But you got to look at and say, okay, first of all, let me compensate for that. Let me find places in my diet or my supplement regime that can handle that. Mm-hmm. The second thing you do want to do is get a baseline for where you are. You know, right. You want to see, okay, where am I? Because the funny thing is we go into this, and like I could start telling you about, what is going to cause anabolism. You know, these people on the 80-10-10 diets, for example. I'm against, for a raw vegan bodybuilder and just living that lifestyle, I'm against an 80-10-10 diet. I just don't think that it can produce results.
I haven't seen, I'll put it to you this way, Kevin. I have not seen someone do that approach and have both physicality and what I would consider to be a neurologically sound person. I haven't seen that combination yet.
See, but that's beautifully spoken, because it's exactly what I was going to say. The second you and I create this standard hard rule to somebody to defy it, right?
Right.
And so that's why we don't really do that, but we say as general guidelines, you want to adhere to a certain extent, unless you've done your baseline, you've seen where you're genetically at, where your genetic potential is at, and you're going to move from there. For example, working out with, and I won't name the individuals again, but working out with a person who's an 80-10-10er, mm-hmm. right? They were lifting a certain weight, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, okay, I see why you believe in that. Hey, we'll talk to you about why you're doing that, and I believe in this 80-10-10 lifestyle, because yours is much higher in protein and higher in fat than mine." And I was like, "Yeah," and so watching them work out, right? And I said, oh, right, they're doing probably 10, 12, 15 reps.
Right.
I said, okay, let me just shift something up for you here. And so then I go and give them this much heavier weight, right? I said, okay, now lift that.
Mm-hmm.
And they start pushing, and they're getting make it this barely huffing and puffing, make it to 6.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I said, okay, now eat, put your 80-10-10 diet up against that workout. Try that workout and try to maintain your 80-10-10. Unless you're have some kind of genetic optimism, genetically optimized for that, you're not going to be able to do it. That's why I eat the way I'm very instinctive, and I'm very in touch with my body. And the foods that I eat, aside from the research that I've done, feel good in my body, regardless of the research. If it says it's great, like agave when it originally came out, this was so great. When I instantly took it, I said, "This is not feeling good in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take it." So I think most important is looking at the deficiencies in our diet, getting our baseline, matching our diet to our lifestyle, and not becoming a zealot, like you're saying, for one particular lifestyle and against some, against everything else. It's just like, hey, this doesn't work for me. I've had people tell me like, this diet this lifestyle will kill you. It's like, really?
Really?
Yeah. So it's like,
Is it going to clog my arteries? Am I going to have cardiovascular disease?
Exactly. But
Really?
when they're jumping on, what's his name? When I've actually started